What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We had another crazy day in the markets, and the markets are only going to get more volatile as the week goes on. In this video, we're going to be covering new news with Russia, some crazy earnings that are set to come out tomorrow, and just important things to know and some great stocks for the rest of the week. So, Tom, with that being said, let's get right into it.
Yeah, Mike, the market ended up going down almost all day today. It was holding up pretty well in pre-market trading, but we bounced right off of that 434 to 436 resistance once again, and we came right back to the downside. We actually broke below 426, which was a key support level that we hit on a ton in yesterday's video. We broke right below it, ended up moving all the way down to 422 at the end of the day, and the Russia tensions are not stopping, guys. We can see today cyber attacks hit the Ukrainian, hit Ukraine, hit their different banks and different websites like that. It's definitely not good. Apparently, these were DDoS attacks, which is pretty bad. It pretty much takes your whole entire system offline whenever those attacks come in. So definitely not good for these situations right now. And obviously, Mike, like we talked about a little bit earlier in the week, there is some ETFs that can kind of cover Russia right now. And we can look at RSX. It ended up moving down in a pretty good way today, kind of hovering around that $19 support, but it was definitely back down in the red, over 9%, Mike. That's pretty telling here, given that this ETF follows Russia.
Absolutely. So RSX on the screen, guys, is the Russian ETF, as Tom pointed out. Tom, how about we check out like a daily chart of this thing? It has just been falling nonstop, kind of like the U.S. markets lately. So that's it's pretty rough. So definitely keep RSX on your radar. But Tom, I'll tell you, the market's been brutal lately. We're even seeing like major companies like Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, and so many more like other like big tech stocks just take a beating. Tesla was down 7% today. So while a lot of these major stocks are selling off, it was pretty relieving to see our DraftKings in the green today.
Yes, that was awesome, Mike. DraftKings ended up over 5%. And I know at the high of day, whenever they were approaching $20.90 up there, they were up a heck of a lot higher than 5%. It was doing very, very well. And I was really surprised, like whenever the overall market started to turn around and we saw the rest of the growth stocks fall, DraftKings still held up well. So they had a very good day. We can see DraftKings on the daily chart has now had two pretty solid green days in a row here on the recovery. We just had those earnings come out, and it looks like we're about to fill that gap back to the upside here.
True that, true that. So they just reported earnings, and while we're on the topic of earnings, we have some giant earnings tomorrow, Tom. So what's on the schedule?
Yeah, we have some huge ones for tomorrow. Before open, we have Alibaba, which is going to be huge. As we know, the China stocks have been crazy over the past couple of years. Moderna is also reporting tomorrow. They have been going down in a major way ever since all these vaccines have started to kind of waver off here over the past couple of months. So we'll have to keep those two on the radar. Even Nikola reports along with Norwegian Cruise Lines, even Six Flags down there. So we do have a few. And then tomorrow after close, it's going to be a pretty big day, Mike. We have Square or Block, and then Coinbase, Etsy, Beyond Meat, even RKT. So it's going to be a big one. Even Oxy reports, which is an oil company. And we all know oil's been crazy volatile lately.
Yeah, tomorrow is set to be a giant day. We have the earnings Tom listed, and then we have some more Fed speakers later in the day too. So definitely keep that on your radar. But I'm very, I guess you could say, curious about Alibaba's movement for tomorrow. The stock has been all over the place, and fundamentally, Baba's a pretty solid company, but the market has not been treating it well at all lately.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, Baba was looking pretty good last week, Mike, but coming into this week, Baba had a big downfall. We fell from 129 last Thursday all the way down to 110 now. It was definitely a big move to the downside. We can see on the daily chart, we're hovering right around that key $110 support. So hopefully these earnings go well, and then maybe we'll get a nice bounce off this support back to the upside. But with the way things have been going, I would not be surprised if this one ended up going down. I just really hope to see them start to recover at some point. I feel like that they are specifically at a pretty low valuation compared to where they were in the past. Of course, the overall market going down hasn't been helping them, but they've also had the crazy China news, then the Evergrande situation and everything like that.
True that. All right, Tom. And then what else is going on in the market right now? Do we have any other major news?
Nothing too crazy. I will say, besides the Ukrainian conflicts today, nothing was too pressing, but Ford did come out with some news today that I thought was actually pretty good. I'll pull up the article here by CNBC. I know that a few days ago, Ford said that they were kind of looking to maybe spin off their EV or the EV section of their company and then kind of make it into its own sister company. And it looks like they're now saying that they have no plans to do that. So they're just going to keep everything under the single name Ford, which I think is a good way for them to go. Their CEO has been coming out a lot over the past few months and doing different interviews and stuff like that. I think he even had like a bit of a talk with Jim Cramer one day, and that was a pretty interesting interview. But I know Ford has been falling a lot lately, Mike, especially over the past couple of months. And we can see it was at highs of $25. It's looking like a pretty good pickup down here around 17, but it definitely is on the downtrend right now.
Gotcha. All right, Tom. Before we move on, we have to take a look at this SPY. It has been brutal over like the past couple of weeks. What are the most important levels to watch on the SPY?
Yeah, the biggest levels to look at right now are going to be right around 421 and then 420. Like we talked about yesterday, Mike, we named off a lot of key levels, and to be honest, they all played out very well today. We bounced up, we bounced right around that 434 to 436 resistance, moved right back to the downside. We finally broke below 426, and then we moved all the way down around 421. So we're definitely straddling that big support. We can see on the 180-day 1-hour chart, we are really close down there to that bottom level. So 420 to 421 is going to be huge for tomorrow, just like 426 was huge for today. You can see the huge sell-off that happened once that finally broke. So if we break below 421 or 420, I'll definitely be looking for a bigger sell-off, kind of like what we saw today.
Alrighty, good to know. Hopefully the market holds its ground. And just some other, I guess you can say, ETFs to watch if you're looking to play the market to the downside. VXX is one of the top ones. We could see the VXX was up almost 6% today, while the market was down under 2%. So, if you're looking to play some stocks to the downside, VXX normally does pretty well. And we also have UVXY, which was actually up almost 9% today. Just be careful that over the long term, these ETFs do decay. And with the last one, we have SPXS, which was up just under 6% today. So keep those three tickers on your radar, because when the market tanks, these things usually fly.
Yeah, they do, and they can be pretty fun to play sometimes. They're generally used for, in my opinion, for day trades. I don't like to hold them too long, but whenever we're in times of volatility like we are right now, with all the Russian situations, especially with the possibility of raising rates and everything like that as well, I feel like these could be pretty good hedges here in the short term, especially if you have exposure to some stocks like in the S&P 500, kind of like what we talked about this morning, Mike. Like if you're holding Apple, Microsoft, some of the bigger names in the market, it might be a good idea to hold VXX at least in the short term.
True that. Alrighty, so let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. And with the first one, we have DraftKings to the upside.
Yeah, hopefully we see DraftKings keep going. They ran all the way up to that $21 resistance today. If they break above 21 tomorrow, I think that'll be the main level to look for.
Sounds good. With the next one, we have Boeing to the downside.
Yeah, with Boeing, wow, this one's looking pretty bad today, Mike. Go ahead and make them fall below 195.
All right, and then with the last one, we have Disney also to the downside.
Yeah, poor Disney here. Go ahead and make them break below 145.50 or just 145 if they break 145.50 in pre-market.
All right, so we are watching Disney and Boeing for potential day trades to the downside tomorrow, only if they break below the levels Tom listed. And we are watching DraftKings for a potential day trade to the upside tomorrow, only if it breaks above the level Tom listed. But Tom, do you have any final thoughts before we end today's video?
I kind of just want to go and look at the oil market one more time, because we've had some crazy volatility out of this market lately, especially with all the Russian news. And we can see yesterday, oil ran up to 95, popped right back down. Today, again, early in the morning, we saw oil fly right back up, but for some reason, oil's having a lot of trouble staying up. We can see it actually kind of fell back down in the middle of the day. So I'm going to be really curious to see how oil ends up moving as these tensions just keep getting worse and worse, because you would initially think that oil would keep going up, but sometimes the market likes to do some trickery. So we'll have to see what it ends up doing. If we see crude oil break below 91, I think we might start to see a bit more of a sell-off, kind of like how the market's straddling some supports.
Sounds good. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and huge shout out to J Deep in the Discord. You're our member of the day today, so thank you so much for all of your activity and support. With that being said, if you guys are new here, please consider subscribing. We post brand new videos every single day, and we have some awesome new updates on the channel in the works, so definitely consider subscribing to see more of our videos every single day. But other than that, let us know what you think about the market right now, and thank you guys so much for watching.